So a driver, we'll call him John Smith in this case, was driving a car and got into a major accident. He was actually okay, not hurt horribly, didn't go in an ambulance or anything like that, but he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. What ended up happening in this story was he later on the following day went to the hospital. In this case, he had some injuries and it was a little bit of pressure, there was some bruising, and long story short, it was about $15,000 worth of medical. Enter Banana Hat Insurance, who's now trying to fight the claim, saying that John Smith was negligent. So let's talk about this. Why are they fighting this claim? And if this happens, do you have insurance coverage if you're not wearing a seatbelt? Hey guys, my name is Mark with Think Insurance, and we're gonna go over that question and finish the story to tell you what the outcome was. Before I get into that, I'd like to say thank you to our channel sponsor, Cover. Cover Insurance is one of the companies you can shop with up to 30 companies. It's hassle-free, which means they're not gonna bug you. You can fill out the quote, it's an app, you download it. I've done it and got like 40 some odd % cheaper with mine. Checked it with Nationwide, Allstate, Progressive, a whole bunch of other companies, and they just have good rates. I have them as a channel sponsor mainly because of that reason. I think they're a benefit for you if you're looking for an insurance quote. Check it out, the link is in the description below. So John Smith is in the predicament that he's trying to figure out how he can have this happen. He thought he was covered completely, but was he negligent? Was he supposed to wear a seatbelt? Was he not? This is a situation in a lot of different states. Now, I'm gonna skip forward and tell you a little bit of the answer beforehand. Some of this was covered and some of this wasn't. So let's dive in a little bit further to find out what we're looking at in these cases. The first part is looking at the law. In your state, and most every state, and every state that I know of, the driver has to have a seatbelt on by law. That is there in protection for the driver. The airbags alone aren't set to protect you. Can you get bruising from the belt? Absolutely. But if you don't have something to slow you down from hitting the airbags, you're gonna go face on into the airbag and it's just gonna blow you back. You're gonna have whiplash and all sorts of things happen. Let's do a reenactment of that. Okay, so it doesn't happen exactly like that. But in this situation, the person is injured and they may not even realize it because you've got adrenaline going and the accident just happened. And John Smith in this situation didn't think that he was majorly injured. He actually had a passenger that was also in the passenger seat that had something similar happen as well, where they actually had whiplash and had to be seen right away. So it depends on a few things. There's a portion called the liability coverage. In this situation, John Smith wasn't at fault. He was rear-ended. His insurance would normally go after company B to get the claim paid for. There's something called bodily injury that's gonna pay those medical pieces. If you're in a no-fault state like Michigan or other states, you're gonna have something called PIP, personal injury protection, or MedPay that you can add on your policy. So that's gonna cover the per person amount of medical. There's a couple situations that this can fall under. The first situation was the injury 100% caused by the seatbelt not being on? In his case, it wasn't. In some cases, not having the seatbelt on, you fall out of your car, or something happens, or you lean forward and you swerve by accident because your seatbelt didn't prevent you from moving. And some of those situations can be caused by not having the belt on. In that situation, there's a good chance your claim in general is going to get denied. Well, how are they going to find out whether I had my seatbelt on or not? Well, this is up to you. If you're in an accident and the police come and there's a report made, typically you're going to tell them. They're also going to check with the doctor. So if you go to the doctor, there's an investigation that's going to be done, and it doesn't make sense to lie to the doctor because this could cause more medical injuries. You want to make sure that you're safe and healthy. In those situations, the doctors are going to have to disclose that on a report that the insurance companies are going to pull and read. So John Smith didn't have his belt on, but he didn't have the accident caused because of the belt. The person that hit him was the one that caused the accident. So why is his claim being pushed back upon? You got to remember, these are for-profit companies. Insurance company A or B are trying to mitigate that claim so they can pay out as little as possible, but making you whole, because that's the contract that you've signed. There's no gray area in this situation. There is, we are covering you for exactly what is happening, and what isn't happening or our fault, we're not going to cover you for. In the second scenario, where this was the one that John Smith had, he was partially at fault. So he was found to be partially negligent, and this is not something that a judge is going to determine. This is from that report that they have. Your adjuster or claims adjuster is going to actually determine that amount of fault. Can you go back at it if you don't like it? Absolutely. But in most cases, they're going to try to be as fair as possible. In John Smith's case, he was 25% at fault because some of the injuries could have been prevented from having the seatbelt on. Now, his medical was $20,000 worth of bills, and 25% of that is going to be $5,000. So $5,000 of that had to come out of his pocket. So this situation may have happened to you, and if it has, there's really only one course of action that most people are going to take. You need to get a lawyer. You need to get them involved, because what they're going to do is they're not only going to fight that, not necessarily to win. In most cases, they're going to lose that percentage. But if they negotiate on your behalf with the insurance company and with the hospital, they're likely going to lower your payment. In John Smith's case, that $20,000 bill got knocked down below $10,000. So they're essentially going to fight that and get that bill lower. The car insurance company is going to pay a little bit more in some cases because they don't want to take it further in a law of court. A law of court, a court of law. I'm not a lawyer, I'm an insurance guy. So to answer your question, yes, absolutely. If you do not wear your seatbelt and are not properly covered, in a lot of cases in fault states or partial fault states, let's use Ohio for example, they have partial fault. If you're leaning down to grab something off the floor and you hit somebody, there's a percentage that you're responsible for, and your insurance is going to pay that percentage because you were at fault. In the case of a medical injury, they're likely going to deny part of your claim, if not try to deny the whole thing, and then you have to fight it, where you're going to have a portion of the bill that you're responsible for. Can you get it taken care of, as we've seen with John Smith's case? Absolutely you can. It's just a matter of connecting with the right company that can protect you. The insurance companies make a huge difference on what your route to take is. Some companies are just willing to let it go, where most of them aren't. So finding the right company is really a matter of a fit, what type of company that you want to go with. The ones that are going to release those and not fight them and care about them as much are the ones you're going to pay more monthly. There is that saying, you get what you pay for, and in this case, sometimes that is really what you're getting. If you lower your coverages and raise your deductibles, you're going to be paying a lot out of pocket in the case where something major happens. So which companies are going to be the best fits for you? Your next step is to check out my 2021 company list of the top rated companies in the United States. Go ahead and check it out. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.